think we've all heard the saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But is it true? Let's break it down. Back in medieval Europe, only the wealthy ate breakfast. Laborers were known to work and eat later in the day. After living in cities became more common, breakfast started becoming a more popular affair. And in America, breakfast became similar to dinner time, with people eating roasted chicken, meat and potatoes, alongside with cornbread and pies first thing in the day. As you can imagine, eating full breakfast in this manner led to a rash of chronic indigestion. But one doctor wanted to change people's health. Dr. Kellogg believed that the meat and spices in breakfast foods was harming health and thought that a breakfast of whole grains and white breads would be easier on digestion. He, along with others, created breakfast cereals, and they began to gain popularity. They were not sweet and were often referred to as rocks. Some cereals had to be soaked for a while before they were edible. Sounds yummy. By 1903, there were hundreds of cereal companies. Cereal was a convenience food which made a lot of people's lives easier. And not unlike many food manufacturers of today, cereal makers claimed that cereal cured many diseases, including malaria and appendicitis. Included with the health claims soon came the cereals coated in sugar and the cartoon characters we are so familiar with. Not long afterwards, vitamins were added to fortify the cereals. In 1944, Post Cereals created an advertisement that read, "Eat a good breakfast, do a better job." And during the radio ads, it would be mentioned that nutrition experts say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Suddenly, the idea that breakfast was the most important meal of the day was born. And now that we know the origin, back to the original question, is breakfast the most important meal of the day? As long as I can remember, there seem to be two camps. The first camp believes that eating a meal early in the day is beneficial in a number of ways, and the second skips the early meal and believes there are health benefits. The first group of breakfast eaters often state that eating early kickstarts your metabolism. Dr. Tangney, a professor at Rush University, states that eating does jumpstart our metabolism and allows us to burn more calories throughout the day. She claims that eating early means we will consume less calories throughout the day, and breakfast eaters tend to have a lower body mass index. This doctor also states that people who skip breakfast are more likely to consume drugs and alcohol. However, randomized control trials have shown that people who eat breakfast tend to eat more calories during the day, and breakfast eaters were more likely to gain weight over time. However, there are some flaws in these trials which make people wonder if the resulting data is accurate. The second group often doesn't feel hungry for the first few hours of waking, or may just prefer a more intermittent eating style. According to Dr. Allison of the Nutrition Obesity Research Center, there is not much strong evidence for eating a breakfast daily. There just is not enough data to back up the idea that eating breakfast is required for good health. One researcher at Cornell University found that while a person who skips breakfast may eat more calories during other meals, it is not usually equal to the amount they would have eaten had they eaten breakfast. As a matter of fact, they found that those who skip breakfast ate approximately 408 less calories throughout the day. What about maintaining or losing weight? Is one eating style more beneficial than the other? As I've already stated, one camp believes that eating early is more beneficial, and the other camp states that not eating breakfast is more beneficial. As far as weight loss, there just is not enough good data to prove that skipping breakfast is more beneficial than eating breakfast. So should you eat breakfast or not? Well, I certainly cannot answer that question for you, and unless you have an underlying medical condition, I'm not sure that the medical community can help you either. There are some people for whom it is recommended that they eat early in the day, including those who must take food with medications, children, diabetics, those who are pregnant, and some others. If you have a health condition and are making major dietary changes, be sure to consult with a medical professional. For people who consume sweet breakfasts like donuts, sugary cereals, and muffins, they may be setting themselves up for an insulin surge, which often causes rebound hunger. Rebound hunger is when we are hungry again sooner than we should be. This is definitely true for myself. What we do know is that starting the day with sugary foods tends to lead to overeating throughout the day, and that sugary foods lead to an expanding waistline, obesity, diabetes, and other health issues. So, what is the very best breakfast a person can eat? Dietitians agree that a breakfast filled with fiber, protein, fat, and complex carbohydrates is the very best breakfast. And while I personally do not eat an early morning meal, my first meal of the day is often a whole grain topped with beans, vegetables, herbs, tomatoes, and sometimes nuts and seeds. I've linked my sources in the description box below. Let me know in the comments whether you do eat breakfast or not, and how you feel that eating breakfast affects your overall health. If you've enjoyed this content, please subscribe. It's free. Have a wonderful day, friends. Bye.